in the entire world, and today we're going to be escorted around the front and back lot by our wonderful driver Ludwin. Everybody say g'day Ludwin. And we'll also be joined by a special celebrity co-host who you may know from Saturday Night Live or The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. It's the man himself, Mr. Jimmy Fallon.
Oh hey there, we made it. Welcome to the Universal Studio Tour. I'm Jimmy Fallon. I'll be making sure you get through this experience in one piece. You've got the very best guy,
Robert.
And the greatest driver,
Ludwin.
They're the best. I love them. Even though
Robert
owes me $5.
Wait, what?
I know you guys are excited to get on the tour, but first, a few safety rules.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a couple of safety rules to go over as we make our way towards the studio. First, if you need guest assistance, if you experience a medical emergency, or if you drop something of high value off the side of the tram, please do not attempt to retrieve it yourself. Do not jump off the side of the tram at any time for any reason, as it is private property at NBC Universal, but most importantly for your safety. Instead, remain on board, reach up and grab that red cord that runs along the center of the ceiling of the tram, and I'll be back to assist you as soon as it is safe for me to do so. Otherwise, remain seated at all times with your arms and legs inside the vehicle. Please, no smoking of any kind on the tram today. That includes vaping, and be prepared. Our tour features loud noises, tram movements, fire effects, and many water effects. Feel free to have those cameras out. Take as many photos or videos as you like. Just keep an eye on them so you don't drop them and so they don't get wet. And for the safety of the guests seated around you, please refrain from using selfie sticks, GoPro sticks, or tripods whilst on board the tour today. But that's all for the safety rules. We are now on our way, and as we descend into the studio, either side of the road, you can follow our movie timeline, celebrating over 100 years of filmmaking right here at Universal Studios Hollywood. And ladies and gentlemen, these days the studio is actually NBC Universal. We make plenty of television programs as well as feature films, also music videos, commercials, any type of screen media that you can think of. And the tour itself is celebrating its 55th anniversary. The studio is divided into two separate sections, the front lot and the back lot. The front lot is where the majority of our sound stages are. Those are huge state-of-the-art warehouse buildings designed to be 98% soundproof inside for filming interior scenes or scenes that need to be filmed in a controlled environment. And then we have the back lot with all of our large-scale exterior set pieces like the Metropolitan City sets. We'll be taking a look at both areas of the studio today, beginning with the front lot. The very first soundstage we'll see is coming up on our left-hand side, Soundstage 12, home to Season 17 of the hit reality singing competition The Voice, hosted by Carson Daly.
I'm the king of the voice! That's a lot of arrogance from someone who just lost a voice.
I love country music.
She does love country music. She just doesn't know anything about it.
I'm gonna take you down. I'm part of country now. Because either way, you get me, you get him. Premieres Monday, September 23rd on NBC.
Kelly Clarkson was one of the judges on this season of The Voice, and she also hosts her own show inside Soundstage number 1, The Kelly Clarkson Show. To our left are Soundstages 20, 19, and 18. These three have been used for classic shows like Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury. Also more recently for the television event series Dirty John, starring Connie Britton and Eric Bana. And then Soundstages 16 and 17 are two of the most famous in all of Hollywood for their use in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. This is where he filmed all of the interior scenes, including that now iconic shower sequence with Janet Leigh as Marion Crane, alongside Anthony Hopkins as Norman Bates. But these days, Soundstages 16, 17, and Soundstage number 21, a little further ahead to the left, are used for the TV show Superstore, starring America Ferrera, Ben Feldman, Mark McKinney, and Lauren Ash.
It's hard to believe, but let's have some patience for one another.
Yeah, you know, the heat makes us all act.
Your face is where it is, it's gonna be.
The mini-season Soundstage number 21 was also home to the Mindy Project, written by and starring Mindy Kaling. John Carpenter also used it for scenes in his 80s thriller The Thing. It was also used by Steven Spielberg for the scene in Jurassic Park where the Brachiosaurus sneezes on the children as they're hiding up the tree with Alan Grant portrayed by Sam Neill. And then to the right is Soundstage 29. This one was also used by Alfred Hitchcock for another of his thrillers, The Bird, starring Tippi Hedren. It was also used by Christopher Nolan for the film Inception, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Ellen Page. A little further ahead, again to the right-hand side, are sound stages 41 and 42, and this is where they're filming new episodes of Season 3 of Homeland. But here on the front line, it isn't just sound stages, this is also where we have production offices for some of the biggest names in Hollywood. Any writers, directors, producers, anyone with a project in development with NBC or Universal. And that includes animation studios like Illumination Entertainment. Their sign is just to our right-hand side here. They created the Despicable Me franchise, Sing, The Secret Life of Pets, just in front of sound stages 43 and 44, where they're filming new episodes of Good Girls, which is in their 3rd season. And it's also where they filmed the interior scenes for all 4 seasons of The Good Place, starring Ted Danson and Kristen Bell. And we have another famous Ted. Over to the left-hand side, that is Ted the Teddy Bear from the films Ted and Ted 2, voiced by Seth MacFarlane. And the majority of our production offices here on the front line are behind Ted on the left-hand side of this street. Here we have offices for people like Dylan Clark, who was one of the producers of the Netflix film Bird Box, starring Sandra Bullock. We also have offices for Jason Blum and Blumhouse Pictures. They make horror films like Happy Death Day, Halloween 2018, and Truth or Dare. Jason Blum was also one of the producers on Jordan Peele's latest film, Us, starring Lupita Nyong'o, who's been nominated for a Golden Globe for her performance in that film. We also have offices for Jennifer Lopez, Angelina Jolie, Reese Witherspoon, and Elizabeth Banks' production company, Brownstone Films. And down the alleyway that's going to be on our left-hand side, there's a white sign with the initials MP, that stands for Mark Platt. He was the executive producer of Disney's live-action version of Aladdin. He's currently there working on the film adaptation of the Broadway musical Wicked. And then again to the left, with a white awning over the front door, is the former office of Alfred Hitchcock, Office 5195, which these days is occupied by the De Laurentiis Company. They make the films Hannibal and Red Dragon, as well as the TV show Hannibal, starring Mads Mikkelsen and Hugh Dancy. Now, in a few moments, we're going to be entering the back row with all of our large-scale exterior set pieces. The last 2 sound stages on the front line are to our left-hand side, sound stages 22 and 23. And this is where they are filming the final season of Will and Grace, starring Deborah Messing, Eric McCormick, Sean Hayes, and Megan Mullally. These sound stages look a little different out the front with these windows, because this is where we have offices for our writers. And these 2 sound stages are also rather new. They were built just before NBC's Hairspray Live, as we needed 2 new sound stages very close to the background, so during the live broadcast we could jump between indoor scenes and outdoor scenes very easily. They've also been used for TV shows like America's Got Talent and Jennifer Lopez's dance reality competition, World of Dance. But we ourselves are now headed into the backline with our large-scale exterior set pieces, and you may recognize a few of them. For instance, coming up on our right-hand side is a street named Brownstone Street. Its main feature is a large brown apartment building with 5 sets of white stairs out the front. You might recognize it from these examples that are playing to you on your screens. It also featured in Home Alone 2 as Kevin McAllister's aunt and uncle's apartment building in New York City. Macaulay Culkin as Kevin McAllister was up the top of that building throwing bricks down to the burglars Harry and Marv below. It's also where Jim Carrey and Jennifer Aniston's characters lived in the 2003 Universal comedy Bruce Almighty.
Raise the dog!
I'm in the shower.
Inside bad, outside good. Inside bad, outside good. Oh, you're done.
B-E-A-U. And speaking of iconic set pieces, we are now entering one of my favorites. This is named Courthouse Square, but if like me, you're a fan of Back to the Future, you may know it as the Town Square of Hill Valley. In 1985, this is where Marty McFly and Jennifer were encouraged to donate to the preservation of the clock tower, which still stands here today to the left-hand side. This area was also the 1955 version of Hill Valley, where Marty was chased by Biff Tannen and his gang in their black Ford convertible. And for Back to the Future Part 2, it was transformed into the 2015 version of Hill Valley. Here to tell us a little bit more about the area is the writer and producer of Back to the Future, Bob Gale, alongside Dr. Emmett Brown himself, Christopher Lloyd.
It was actually the back lot of Courthouse Square that inspired the entire climax to Back to the Future.
I had scenes up in the clock tower on that ledge, His leg fell out wide.
This was also another town square in another 80s film, Gremlins. It became Kingston Falls for the opening title sequence, and the clock tower was also the courthouse featured in the classic film To Kill a Mockingbird. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just turned into our main New York City street. This is most frequently used as New York City in shows like Will and Grace and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Key and Peele and Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This street is also where American Ninja Warrior constructs the obstacle course for the Los Angeles trials. It's also been used in films like The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, featuring Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. It was also used as New York City in Sam Raimi's original Spider-Man trilogy featuring Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst. And ladies and gentlemen, here to tell us a little bit more about our New York City street is a New York City native and our co-host today. Welcome back to your screens, Mr. Jimmy Fallon.